Buying a domain name is simple. You just go to Google, type domain name, click the first result, register the domain, and you're done. Chances are you don't even really think about it again after doing that until the domain comes up for renewal next year. As people get more experience with domain names, I find that they say, oh, you know what? I think this first place I register my domain at probably isn't the best place to keep it at. Typically, the more popular domain registrars, GoDaddy, I'm not trying to call any company out, but there are some popular domain registrars that are not really great. And as people get more experience, they realize that and they want to transfer their domain out. So what are the considerations before you transfer your domain name? Well, the first thing you need to keep in mind is that you'll need to unlock your domain before you transfer. There's something called a domain transfer lock, and every registrar does this. What you'll need to do is log into your domain registrar panel and flip the switch that says domain transfer lock to off, and this tells the new registrar that you are able to transfer your domain out from the previous registrar to that. That's not all though, you also need to obtain the auth code. The auth code is a randomly generated code like a password. Your domain registrar will have a spot in their panel where you can say request auth code. They'll usually email this to you, or you can contact support and they will be able to send this to you as well. Your auth code is your ticket to transfer your domain name. So you need the auth code and you need to have your domain unlocked in order to be able to transfer it to the new registrar. Now, in most cases, you're going to be allowed to transfer your domain name anywhere you want, whenever you want. However, there are two scenarios in which you may not be able to transfer your domain name. Yes, your domain could be hostage at your current registrar. The first case is if your domain is less than 60 days old. So if you bought your domain last month at GoDaddy and you're trying to transfer it to Namecheap, you may not be able to do this. We'll talk about why in a second. The second case is if you updated the contact info on the domain, the registrant details, the information that is publicly listed in the Whois database. If you updated that info within the last 60 days, that is another thing that could stop you from transferring your domain name to another registrar. Why is this? Well, ICANN, the nonprofit organization that regulates domains, actually put this rule in place to help prevent fraud. I'll be honest, I don't totally understand it. I don't know what this prevents as far as fraud, but the good news is that registrars have the option to let people opt out, and I find that most registrars, including GoDaddy, including ones I'm not really a big fan of, they tend to let you opt out of this stuff. So I wouldn't be too concerned about this, but just keep in mind if your domain is less than 60 days old, or if you did recently update the contact info, technically your registrar could choose to stop you from transferring the domain name, and that's an ICANN regulation, meaning the registrar isn't necessarily the bad guy, it's just a weird quirk about how domains work. So one important thing you need to know when you transfer your domain is that you're actually adding 1 year of time to when your domain name expires. What does this mean? Well, I think when a lot of people transfer their domain, they think, oh, I'm paying $8 or $10 to transfer my domain, like I'm paying a transfer fee, and that's actually not true. What you're paying for is adding 1 year of time to your domain name at the new registrar. So if you've got 1 month left on your domain before you transfer, after you transfer it, you're gonna have 1 month plus 1 year left. So at this point, you're probably wondering, Christian, how do I transfer my domain name? And I've actually got a full tutorial you can watch on transferring your domain name from GoDaddy to Namecheap. I'll have that linked up here and in the description below. It's an unlisted video, so make sure you check the links to be able to find it. When you do go to transfer your domain name, you're gonna find it'll take anywhere from 2 to 9 days to transfer. And this is because registrars have different methods for transferring your domain out from the old one and into the new one. What do I mean? Well, some registrars are gonna send you an email saying, hey, we got a request to release your domain to the new registrar. If we don't hear from you for 5 days, we're gonna go ahead and release that automatically. In that case, you basically have a 5-day waiting period before the new registrar can get a hold of that domain and take it into their possession. So if that's the case, it's going to be closer to probably 7 to 9 days to transfer your domain. However, some registrars are kind and they'll actually send you an email and say, hey, the new registrar sent us an email letting us know that you want to transfer your domain out. If this is really true, click the link in this email and we'll release it immediately. When that happens, your domain transfer will probably take place in 2 to 4 days. So hopefully your registrar is one of those that will let you just click the link and release it to the new registrar. If not, you have a waiting period that unfortunately cannot be bypassed. And speaking of waiting periods and things that cannot be bypassed, if your domain expires in less than 7 days, stop, do not pass go, renew your domain name at the current registrar first before you transfer. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably going, but Christian, I want to get this thing away from GoDaddy or wherever I'm leaving. I don't want to renew this domain again before I transfer it. I know. It's probably a painfully high renewal cost, but if your domain expires in less than 7 days and it's important, meaning it's running on a live website that gets traffic, you don't want to risk your domain name expiring while it's in the transfer process. Think about this. If your registrar is one of those that has, say, a 5-day waiting period, and then it might take 2 to 3 business days for the new registrar to transfer it in once it's released, you might wait 8 or 9 days for that transfer to take place, and until it is complete and at the new registrar, the old registrar is responsible for it. So if you have 7 days left on the domain and it takes 9 days to transfer, well, guess what? For the last 2 days of that transfer, your domain is expired and there's not really anything you can do about it because it's being transferred. You're literally gonna get stuck where you have no choice but to wait with your website offline until the transfer is completed. So those are the things you need to know before transferring your domain name from any registrar to any registrar. If you'd like to know how to transfer a domain name, I have a whole tutorial on transferring from GoDaddy to Namecheap. If that's what you're transferring to and from, great, but if not, you're still gonna get great insight out of this tutorial because the transfer process is very similar no matter who you're transferring from or to. So if you like this video, definitely do be sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you don't miss when I release new videos. And with that said, I will catch you guys next time.